Good evening. It's the Wall Street Weekly Wrap-Up, May the 2nd, 2025. Earnings week. 40% of the S&P 500, 200 companies report this week. Too many to cover. We'll cover some of the ones that we don't own next week, but let's get into it. It was an interesting week, much different than I would have ever expected. Let's take a look. Our next gen portfolio was minus 2.7 and then 2.91% today. Again, kind of a big up that China might negotiate, willing to talk about fentanyl, which means they might talk about other things. Who knows? Sell Monday, yeah. Sell tariffs, well, apparently not. We didn't get anything deals on tariffs, you know. Day 103, we got the Ukraine mineral deal, which is a good deal for everybody. Well done, Secretary of Treasury. But we don't have anything with the tariffs in trade. Japanese rejected the proposal that was brought in front of them by Navarro, which I'm not surprised. You know, trying to go through his deficit balance thing. You know, sooner or later, everybody's going to get tired. Just get these deals done. You know, I mean, it's not that hard. It's not that complex. You know, there's a lot of nuances in it. But you just take what you had and then you say, okay, what did we need to fix from what we had before 6 months ago? All right. How's everything? Well, you know, we're all still red. You know, of course, if you're the S&P mid-cap and the Russell 2000, it's ugly city, as they call it. The Nasdaq's still down there. We're catching up pretty close, 0.219 to the S&P 500, so that's good. Third straight losing month for the S&P 500, but the ninth straight day for this is like you got it down and it's coming up, you know, like the wave split. You don't see stats like this. This is just an odd time. You don't see the third straight S&P losing month and 9 straight days up. And of course, you know, if you're a chartist, you would have been buying and selling out here, but it broke. This is a positive sign. It broke out. It broke this trend line, and that's a positive sign. You have to remember it. So we're showing the SPY, you know, because I like it because it shows me the, well, what was that? You know, kind of all these little Microsoft additions that I never asked for. But, I mean, this has been tough. And let's see, what was it? Tariff Freedom Day was like around here somewhere where we dropped like a rock. We're kind of there. You know, now we got to get up to the mid-February number. Maybe it'll go there. I mean, it's been a bizarre market. And, again, that's why we're diversified. We buy, we sell at the same time because you get too light and it jumps on you like this week. It's going to be 9 straight days. Listen, that is amazing. Our portfolio went up 9 straight days. Well, that's pretty good. The indicators, you know, we're still below 4 on the 2-year. I mean, I watch the 2-year. Everybody watches the 10-year. I don't know why. I don't use the 10-year in real life. 2 years is a short-term loan. That's what you got to pay. So, crude oil's below 60. Bing, bing, bing. That's a lot. But the gas prices haven't dropped down. So we're waiting. We're waiting. Used to be when we get down to 60, we got down like the $1.98. You know, so it's low. Gas, natural gas, it is. You know, still almost above 3. I'm just sitting there thinking, wait a minute, winter's over. They're going to sell a lot of LNG. Wait, China's not buying it. Where's our LNG going? Why is it going up? It should be crating like a rock. Supply, yes. Demand, no. No 2 billion to China. They got the United Arab Emirates buying it. So where are we going to sell this 2 billion to? Europe? They'll always buy it at a price because they need it. But gold's still hanging above 3,000, not as much as 3,400 earlier last week. And then silver is coming down to 32. And, you know, as long as it's 450, that's my measurement of the economy. Once copper is at 450, we're still good. Live cattle, look at this, record high. Now, China's going to buy their beef from Australia. $2 billion of beef. We are going to have a surplus. You will have $5 steaks because all these heads of cattle ain't got a buyer unless we make a deal. And, man, we can't be doing this until July because that's a lot of farmers sitting on cattle that you ain't going to sell. I mean, this is a tough issue. So, I mean, soybeans, natural gas, rice. I mean, just incredible amount of things that we might not be able to sell. Sometimes we just got to be back to the wall and face the collapse, and then we do something. Maybe I hate to say that's a, what is that called? Breakdown government. You know, you fix it when it's broke, and until it breaks and everybody's screaming, then you don't fix anything. NVIDIA, you know, they might loosen chips. Oh, I hate these things. It might loosen chips. NVIDIA is one of the few Mag 7 stocks that's not breaking the downtrend yet. We got it. It's getting close. It's getting close. Look at it. It's right up here. I just like listening to Jensen Huang, and he was interviewed today. AI will create more jobs, not less jobs, and AI alone won't take your job. It's a person who uses AI like me that'll take your job. It's amazing what I can do. It's like I have a personal assistant. And it used to be I used to have to tell the assistant, you got to do this, correct this, and for 2 hours it saved, I had an hour of work. Now it's 2 hours of saved, and I got 5 minutes of work. It's getting better. You know, I'm telling you, it's really good. So I can do a lot more things that I can do, and I can write proposals, and I can look at programs and just run it right through the AI to pick up stuff, and I glance at it. You know, I mean, I can glance at stuff now. Summit, oh my God, Summit Therapeutics. Remember, this thing is like the ultimate of heartburn. You know, maybe they don't make heartburn pills; they make lung cancers. But you know, they get a Chinese approval, and it shoots up like a rock, as you can see. And then somebody dumps out of it. I don't know what it was, but it dumped. And I was looking at it. I read the stuff over the weekend, and I says, you know what? We're going to get into China, buy Summit, and of course we got in, and then it popped 16% today. Wow, that's a big jump. So you know, we're buying it at the 20 something, like 22, I think it was. You know, it wasn't 20, but it was like 22, and we're at 27. That's 25% drop almost. You know, that's a pretty good one. But the thing is, superior efficacy compared to the other lung cancer drug. It is much better. The Chinese realized that they approved it. Eventually it'll get approved in the United States. And where were you going to do that? Pay 50, 100? These are things that you have to think, I am going to own this stock because it's superior for the next 3 years. The market doesn't recognize things when it happens. Sometimes they do, but sometimes it could be a couple times. So something that's working great in medical, we're buying it. We're nibbling in it, and eventually ease up to a full position. Philip Morris, pretty good earnings, you know. Revenues fell, though. I mean, people get excited. I mean, 120 a share, you know, that's not bad. Inline guidance, been solid for the diversification. Again, remember, the smokeless tobacco things that have no nicotine are super hot, you know. And then Coca-Cola's been stalwart. I mean, Buffett, I saw him today just drinking a cherry Coke. No sweeteners, just all sugar. You know, I mean, he can drink some of it, I'm sure. But, you know, Coca-Cola, you know, revenues are flat. Everybody knows it. The retailers are being, the consumer staples. Consumer staples are getting hit. I mean, I watch Pepsi. I'm glad we're in Coke, not Pepsi. Number one soft drink, Coke Zero. This thing only came out a few years ago. Number one in the country, Coke Zero. It's like Coke, but doesn't have the calories. Diet Coke, they're keeping. They got like Coke Zero, and then Diet Coke and regular Coke, all up in the top 5 type of thing, or top 10 at least, you know. Guidance is good. You know, of course, everybody, you know, a lot of people are saying no guidance for anything. I can't give guidance. The tariffs are affected. Well, remember, Coke makes the German Coca-Cola in Germany, so no tariffs. Kind of like what everybody wants. Meta, well, let's talk about a blowout, man. This is incredible. I mean, you know, raise CapEx. That's what everybody wanted to see. You know, again, Jensen's been saying you need more data centers, not less. You need more power, not less. Revenue 16%, double digits at a $3 trillion company. DApps, daily active users, it's like 8 billion people, and almost 40% of them are on a Meta product every day. Oh my God, that's just incredible. The stuff you can take. And Meta AI just is fired up. And I'm going to pause just a second if I can do this right. No, I'm going to get on my phone. I'm sorry. Let's pull up the phone. Meta AI. I think Astrid, which the Meta AI is called, is very pushy. So you can talk to the AI. It looks like a white screen.
You're interacting with me through a text-based interface, and it sounds like you're describing the setup. What's on your mind? Want to chat about something specific, or just see where the conversation goes?
Astrid, what did Bitcoin do today? How much is it?
Bitcoin's current price is $96,623.07 US. The closing price today was $96,566.04 US. So it's had a slight increase. Keep track of prices on platforms like Binance for the most up-to-date information.
No, I'm not checking Binance. That's why I ask you. Astrid, what was Bitcoin price 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago would be around April 18th. According to the data I have, Bitcoin's closing price on April 18th was $84,474.69. If you're looking for more recent or specific price data, I'd be happy to help you find that. Keep in mind the prices can fluctuate rapidly.
And we're going to stop it. This one is a chatty AI. I think kind of pushy. When I just don't answer and I'm reading, it's like, are you done? Did you want to talk? I'm like, oh my God, I can't live with this one. But I just show it. It's very smart, and you can remember. They're not going to my data, right? They're using this stuff. You training it. Everybody's on, Instagram. Everybody's training. What does it want to know? The thing that you could probably tap into is just going to be incredible and stuff. So that's why we're getting a pop. It broke out of that trend. That's one of the big ones. Remember, Tesla was first, and now it's Meta and other ones. Lilly, other hand, CVS Novo Nordisk partnership, going to be the priority weight loss drug, dropped it. Everybody said, oh my God, they're going to do it. But I'm looking at this 45% revenue increase. What? This is a healthcare company, a pharmaceutical, up 45%. This is no tech, other than NVIDIA like this. I mean, this is the NVIDIA of healthcare pharma. Key product between Manjaro and Zepbound up 7.5 from 4.0 billion. It's incredible. They're gonna have it everywhere. Be at a vending machine. I need some Zepbound because I'm not gonna wait in line for it. Southern, our utility, remember we overweight utilities as a defensive play for a recession, which is really controversial right now. Is it going to happen? Monday, everybody said, yeah, it's going to happen. Now, people are backing off because we're breaking all these trend lines. And Kramer was like, oh, we're not going to have a recession today. You think we're going to have a recession now? Okay. You just got to remember, it's long term. We're trying to play defensive because we don't want to get killed. We may not make it much, but we got good companies in the best sectors. Remember that. That's a big difference from some of these other portfolio managers. They're playing momentum and they're playing other stuff. Southern, I thought it was good. Look at this utility. You think a utility up 17%? That's it, man. And if Jensen's right, we need more power. Guess who's going to make it? Southern, Exelon, Dominion. All these companies are going to do well, and so that's an issue, and we'll see. So I think you look at it. That's better than Amazon, which we'll talk about. There it is, Amazon. We sold Amazon. We're going to pay some capital gains on Amazon, unfortunately. But there's two things that bother me. I mean, everybody, I would say my sentiment indicator said about 94% are positive of Amazon earnings. I was in that 6% that was not so happy with this report. Revenues 8.6. Okay, they were 10% before. Now it's down to 8.6. And I tell you, if AWS is 16%, what's below the 8.6? It's retail sales. They don't want to talk about like Whole Foods. They're not going to break it down. And I think they're struggling in a lot of the other areas. And that's not good. So, Azure from Microsoft we'll talk about is lighting it up. And let's take a look at the issue. The growth in AWS, which is why we have Amazon as well as other issues. I talk to people. It's the number one product. If you think where your money's going for everything out of your, after your food after your mortgage and all your stuff that you don't have a choice on, like electricity, internet, and everything else, Amazon is a chunk of people's money. It's like number 1 or number 2 or 3 for where their money disappears under discretionary. Then you have a grocery store, but none of us know where the tariffs are settled. We haven't seen any attenuation of demand. Yes, because Liberation Day was April 2nd. The quarter ended March 31st. People can't consolidate the fact you're not going to have it in the first quarter. It's this quarter. And do you want to be on this thing with a hot potato when we've seen the AWS starting to go down? I mean, this is going down, and there's something about the core customers are transferring to AI. AI is going up 100%. Yeah, I know, but something's wrong. This is very much a glossed over thing where they're not getting into it. And yes, I did not want to sell Amazon, but I see the tariffs and these other issues affecting Amazon. So to minimize the risk, because we're going to look at it, we have to think about it. What is the trade doing? Okay, now, I heard some number, like 14% of all the trade is, from the United States is from China, which doesn't seem like much, but I just say they do about $150 billion of sales. We sell to China. We bring in like $450 billion. Yeah, it slows down, but what's going to happen? All of a sudden, you buy one Dow instead of 30s, right, or 2 Dows, and you're not going to get this stuff. And I know, it's just, I'm looking at the whole picture. I get everything from, it's like, 100 different feeds and everything else. And this is a number, the container ships. I mean, I watched a guy from the Port of LA talking about they ain't leaving China. The ships are empty right now. They're sitting in there waiting for stuff because everybody's not shipping it from China. And, some of the stuff from Taiwan and India are going good, but this is not a good thing. And, as Bressett said, the Secretary of Treasury, which actually I like, he's, versus the two stooges that are talking nonsense. It's not sustainable. We got to make a deal with China. And, and I would put Bressett in charge of the trade deal with China, because we could probably make one if, somebody doesn't flip-flop on it. But these are things they're talking. It might be a tough Christmas back to school sale if you didn't get your shirts. Remember, I was on, never mind that, but I was on TEMU and Shein, and I was showing them how cheap the stuff was, how you could buy it directly, and it is really, except for like one product I bought, everything else is really good quality. I mean, I like it. I don't want to pick on pens, but this dollar pen is really nice. It's like a $10, $20, $30 pen. I mean, it just feels good. It's light. It works every time. So these are things that, it used to be China was a lot of junk, and it isn't that way anymore. And that's one of the things I've noticed. People, like, once you get in, it's made in China, it's just junk. No, there is junk. Don't get me wrong, but it's a lot of stuff that's quality. And remember, they've got millions of scientists and researchers trying to make things better, cheaper, quicker. So TEMU, starting to put surcharges, because it's 145%. So just say, 1.5 times your bill. Look at this person. I mean, I'm just sitting there. They put it out. Amazon was going to do that Monday, and President calls Bezos directly before they decided that they wouldn't do this. We're going to put it on an Amazon haul, which I've never been on. But they want to show people that this is effect. I'm sure they kind of were going to be a subtle hint, because this is not a subtle hint from China. We are paying $31 that you didn't have to pay because of the tariffs that are arbitrary, capricious, and not good for you. So people are like, oh, I can't buy it. Well, where are you going to buy it? Amazon now just puts it in the price, instead of the product you're going to buy. Let's say you bought a nice set of super shoes, and now it'll just show up at Amazon 54. It won't tell you the tariffs, and you just think, well, price went up from $22 to 54. And like I said, they're dumping everything through other suppliers. That'll work for a while, but this whole thing is a mess. And Microsoft, this came out, and I'll tell you what, the market realized Azure is growing faster. Remember, Google came out like Google's increasing a little bit. Azure, no, it's up quite a bit. And they're accelerating revenue growth. So, you got a $3 trillion company, and it pops like this, breaks past the negative trend line. Another one of the megas that did it. that's lighting the market up on fire. And again, CapEx did not change, did not go up like Meta, but that's good. That means the demand. Remember, right now, I think it's like, why would we spend when we can't get any more? You know, it's like you got a sold out order of the Blackwell chips from NVIDIA. You can't get any more anyway. So why would you say you're going to increase CapEx when you can't get the chips you want? And you know, like I said, still waiting for some things, but Microsoft is obviously, people want the access to the data and the use of the data at the super speeds of the Blackwell chip. And you know, 13%. Remember, that's my big number. You're tech, you better be doing 13%. So when Amazon went below 10, that was another thing about it. I mean, is Amazon tech? Well, it's AWS's tech. You know, everything else could be retail. I mean, you know, what percentage is it? I don't want to talk on trying to figure out what it is, because you know they do a lot of different things. Google came out this week with VO. You can do a text to video. I made Scarlett Johansson appear in Ukraine. I mean, it's not really Scarlett Johansson, but it's the AI version, and this is just, you know, pretty amazing. And you know, this is part of the thing that I was predicting with these super chips. All you got to do is get a couple of these things. A small amount of servers are handling the super chips, and now we got the ability to make text and video. And you can remember, it's only 8 seconds, but what's it going to be a year from now? 20-minute video? No, I want the jacket black. I want the car behind it red. I need the hair shorter. I need the eyes 0.35 millimeters further apart. You know, this is what's going to happen. And you can imagine, if you're a cartoonist or anybody else, these people, I could make my own cartoon book, and it'd be, how are you going to tell it? It'd be like this, Action Spider-Man like this, and I can add balloons and everything else. It's just going to be really kind of interesting. And already, you know, we got the ability. One of the softwares, and I won't tell you which one. That's I think it was Meta, can pick up that it's an AI generated thing. There's a code they're putting in these things to let other sophisticated AI know that's an AI image. You know, so because I was trying to sit there and like, let's code it, see if it can recognize who it is. You know, just facial recognition. This is an AI image generated by such and such. So we sold Amazon, a retailer. We're going to buy a retailer. I've been staying away from the food companies because of the prices are going up and people are hesitating. And McDonald's said consumers concerned. They dropped 2 revenues in a row, or 2 quarters in a row with lower revenue growth. So, you know, the king of fast food is telling you that it's people are hesitating to buy. But Texas Roadhouse, 14% increase. You go to it, it's full. I went there last month, it's full. It's busy, it's doing well. They replaced Olive Garden as the American top casual dining chain. Then it's Chili's, and then it's Buffalo Wild Wings. That's a big deal. Remember, try to buy the number one in the sector. The number one in the sector. It's got a good model, and that's, you know, pretty good. I mean, Alexa, stop. I didn't. I had the Meta AI, so I did not put in Alexa. That's supposed to come out too. You know, another one. It's, you know, Meta, when it came out with this pushy AI, I call it Astrid. I call it Astrid because they get the pick, and then of course it says I'm Meta AI. I'm not Astrid. We agreed. You're going to stick with that name. I'm sorry. When I buy a dog, the dog doesn't tell me the name. You know, so. All right, the trade deficit. You know, monthly deficit 161 billion. See, this is a lot of money. You would have thought all these talks would do it, but no, it's the worst. In fact, it's the worst in all-time history that they've been keeping back. I mean, this is incredible. You know, you look back, you know, in the 80s, we were kind of close to being balanced, imports and exports. Now we're huge deficit, record deficit. So this is, again, this nonsense with the trade. You could have solved this and wouldn't have been this high. But what it means is they're not buying our products. We're slowing down buying theirs, and they're not buying ours in record month. So, not good. And the deficit went up. I mean, I thought it was supposed to control it. We even got to the tax cuts, and the deficit up. You know, like, whew, you know, not good. Unemployment, that's a good number. They liked that number this morning, you know. And it seemed like eons ago when Rick Santilli. It was 4.2%. The other number that came out earlier was the continuing jobless claim, which is 1.9 million, went up. The highest jump, for the continuous claims. So, I don't know how many people. I always say 180 million. That's the number of how many adults we got working, and that's not a big percentage. I'm sure it's probably my numbers are wrong, but I just watch it. You don't. You're setting records. You're in the COVID era, and that's why they expected this number to be much higher, but it wasn't. So it's a good number, positive number. Will it get adjusted upward or downward? We'll find out. But these are the mixed signals that you're looking. That's why I said recession issue. I just wanted to talk about a couple companies on the health side that now we're out of our companies, if I did it right. Cardinal Health. I mean, these companies are doing well, except for United Health, the largest. I mean, earnings were good, beats in line, and look at this thing. It broke out of a trend that was upward anyway. And, this is a nice sloping 200-day moving average. So, thinking about, we got to get into Cigna or Cardinal Health or something else. Cigna also 14% revenue growth. These are healthcare companies. They're growing faster than the tech companies. So these are things you got to look at. And of course, this one, just like Cardinal, go back and forth. They're almost exactly the same charts. In fact, I maybe put the same chart there. No, but that's what you have to think about. Apple, one of our $3 trillion clubs. I'm not watching. I'm talking about these are the companies that broke $3 trillion. Where it's at exactly today, I don't watch the market cap per se, but we look at it. iPhones, pretty good, like wasn't like something like $70 billion of iPhones. A lot of money. A lot of money they do. Revenue's up. Remember, we were at zero for a few quarters, like four quarters of zero. They go and of course he said there's no evidence it's pulled through. Again, this is not the quarter. This quarter next is where we're going to see the damage from tariffs and everything else. And they're talking it might be $1 billion hit on just the tariffs from the area. And he's pulling all the stuff, remember, from China to India. And I'm sure China is like, this is really getting bad. When's it going to stop? Because they got to have factories that are going to be closing because you don't have the workers to make it a product. If we're not bringing it over, you're not making production. You just got stuff stored in the warehouses, and this is an issue they got to deal with. And of course, we're going to take pain. We're already taking pain. My God, we're paying more stuff for fuel and everything. It should be a lot lower, but it'll matter who can take pain more. So that's interesting. GDP negative. This is why I think of recession chance 70%. That's pretty high percentage on Monday. I bet you down. It probably went down like the lower ones here, but I just said, okay, GDP went negative. To me, if unemployment goes up and GDP's negative, that's my recession. There's nothing good about it, and it's a flat economy. This is not good. We had 2 solid years of growth, and now we had a negative growth quarter, and I don't think it'll be good next year. Next quarter. So just watch it. It's not. It was like, this is a taste of recession. Are you going to listen to it, or are you going to wait till it hits you, and then by then your portfolio is down another 20%? So that's why I said we're trying to be defensive. We don't know which way it's going to go. This is self-inflicted. Nucor, and I just had to pick a couple. There's going to be another dozen plus we're going to talk about next week from this week's earnings, because you can be talking all day long here. Nucor, they said, hey, seeing some demand in steel. Well, yeah, because everything is getting taxed heavy on the tariffs on steel, so you got to buy Nucor stuff, and it's coming close to breaking out. And I was thinking, oh my God, about earlier, in April, we could have got it down to maybe 70, but never went there. That's why we look at the trend lines and stuff. So if you want to buy Nucor, you can buy it before it breaks out. I think it will break out because everything is starting to break out. That means we could do another week like this. It could be that way, or it could just, okay, we had one good week and now we're going to take a bad week out there. Bitcoin, you heard the meta, 96,000 from 84 2 weeks ago. That's a big jump. And it kind of crept on people. It wasn't like it just jumped up in one day. You were at 84, let's say right about here, and you're like, oh, I'm sick. This thing was at 109, now it's down to 84. Down here it was 78. You know, I had people in the group talking like, well, why didn't you tell us to buy 78? I says, well, you can't chart Bitcoin, but you know, why wouldn't it come across this line at 70,000? You know, look at one peak, two peaks, three peaks, four kind of right here. That's a natural number to buy. We never got there. Bitcoin just, I always tell people, Bitcoin you can't chart. It just does what it wants to do, and that's why we're in it. We didn't sell any of it at all, so we're riding a heck of a gain in the last few weeks. And now people are thinking, should I get on? Because you know, it's like this chart is flip, 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 up and down, up and down, up and down, and you know, and you look at it like, you know, Tom Lee. If you're in the top 10 best days, you're going to make money. If you're not in those days, like this is a big jump here, 70,000 to 80,000. But that's almost 2 weeks. It's the same thing. It goes from 84 to 96. That's 12,000 gain. So I tell people, just hold on. And if you want to look at something, look at like Ethereum. It's not tracking like this. Almost all the altcoins, as I call them, are all kind of negative. So historically, you'd want to get into these altcoins because it's lagging Bitcoin. Usually, if you want to try to do something, that's where you're going to go. Remember, it doesn't go up as fast as Bitcoin, but it does go up. Healthcare we looked at, of course, you know, if it's red or pink, that was lower than the quarter before. I'm starting to like the color of stuff because I can instantly look at United Health had a worse quarter, which, you know, Cardinal and was lower. All right, Cardinal was lower. Hold on a minute. But we can look at Merck, Pfizer, red. I mean, big reds, I mean, almost like a 10% drop. I mean, big drops. AstraZeneca, Sanfini, Stryker went up good. Bayer didn't. Our stock, Roche is up there. Novacor, of course, I don't consider pharmaceuticals, and I should probably put Novacor as zero, but they do get revenue. And of course, Summit Therapeutics is our new add to it. So we're overweight health because I think it's in there. And I think what we have is such a dysfunction because the sector as a whole is kind of gone down, and there's other ones in this area that have gone down. Lilly is a big player in this, so kind of almost mirrors the Lilly chart. And of course, Novacor, you know, it's been down. I mean, you know, you think about it, we were at 32 and now you're at halfway. That's a 50% haircut, but I can tell you, Novacor's got therapeutics at work. We're not selling it. We're not selling it. We just have to put up with this nonsense because one day you get this, boop, it goes right up here. This went up from 20 to 30. 50% jump in a day. That's why this stock is like super heartburn, you know. And I tell people, if you get down here and you bought it at 34, Lexa, stop. You bought it at 30. Lexa, stop. If you bought it at 34, then you got to have a stop. You got to have a stop with all these stocks. You can't be taking a 50% haircut on a new one. Again, of course, I always ease in like 10%, 30%, 50%, and I watch it, and I get out when it's cheaper to get out because obviously I was wrong, you know. And I guess Roche, you know, no dividend, but you know, not too expensive, but it's coming up. You know, this has been a solid. I mean, you go back when we got Roche way back here, you know, so we're at 41. We're still good. We're up 30%. Not so bad. Not so bad at all. And of course, the heat map, you just didn't want to be an Apple. I mean, all the other ones, you know, they were pretty good. CVS is up there, and I can't remember what the XYZ block did bad. There wasn't much, you know. I mean, overall, pretty solid, broad, across the board raise. Amazon, of course, was flat for the week, which is surprising. But you know, is it going to go up? We're at 9 straight days? Well, we watched Meta go up to like 10, 20 or something. I mean, just amazing amount. But you got to remember, a lot of this is what tariffs come up and how they see it. I'm telling you, if we get one deal, it's going to be a rocket. It'll be a rocket up for a while because people are like, okay, we got a blueprint now. And the rest of the nations can say, I can agree with it, you know. And I just think, you know, if you just put a 5% across the board, who's going to complain? Nobody. But, you know, it's all over the board, and that's where you got to get the boss to agree to it and say, yeah, that's a good tariff, and we'll take it. All right, I know it's earnings week. It's a tough week. I just think I must have read 400 earning reports today, even though there's not 400 S&P 500, about 200. But it seemed like it was every morning and every evening, just a tons of reports. All right, have a good week. It's a good time if you want to get out and walk and see the garden and the flowers. It's a good time. A lot of stuff is out there. Otherwise, I will see you next week.